let's bring up our next amazing, incredible speaker. Here she comes, Katharina. Oh, yes. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for the opportunity. Just, oh my goddess, and each of you for tuning in and taking the time for yourself and to engage in this way. It's just so beautiful.
It is truly beautiful. I'm so glad that you're here. So let me introduce you. This woman is incredible. She's recently come into my life, like just in the last month, and I'm kind of like, where have you been my whole life? So it's awesome. So Katharina
Maybe.
Kunz, she's going to be sharing a little bit, everybody, about entering the chrysalis. Explore the alchemy of unbecoming. I actually have her book, which I've been diving into, and it's powerful. Anyway, she's a health and fitness and embodiment architect. Love that word. Speaker and author of The Butterfly Project, The Alchemy of Unbecoming. That's the book. Yes, that's the book. I had it. It's somewhere here. With nearly 3 decades of experience in health, fitness, and personal growth, Katharina is a seasoned guide on the journey to wholeness, vitality, and joy. Her unique approach integrates whole body nutrition, embodied movement, immersive ritual experiences, and transformative meditation. So, ladies, you are in for a big treat right now. Katharina, thank you so much again for being here.
Truly an honor.
So good. Let's dive in. It's one thing for me to tell everybody about you, but why don't you tell everyone, like, what is it that you do? What do you love about the work that you do, and how did you come to do it?
Good question. I'm really passionate about exploring and getting curious about what it really means to live in this embodied experience. Because let's face it, no one has, no one is, no one ever gets to be you. And when this landed for me, and I mean, like, I'm going to be 53 next month, and this just landed for me in the last year of like really taking that in, of like, what does that really mean to fully embody all of me? And that means, like, for those of you who have partners out there, you'll probably recognize that the things that you love about your partner, there are those things that brought you together, and there's those things that drive you crazy about them, but you don't get one without the other. Those quirks and those idiosyncrasies are part of the whole experience, and you can't separate them. And so when we can start to do that with ourselves, and we can start to explore ourselves from that way and embrace all of the imperfections, the perfectly imperfect aspects of what we are, and then we can dive into different experiences of that. So I've been a personal trainer for almost 30 years. So the physical body has been the avenue through which I've accessed the whole body experience. And so whole body nutrition is really looking at, how do I fuel myself, not only physically, but also with my thoughts and with how I align that with how I want to feel. As I move in my body, am I exploring the ways that I want to engage and strengthen my body so that I can do all the things that I want to do? It's not just about how I appear in the number on a scale, right? I start to explore a different way, a different realm. And so this has really been a big piece of how I've evolved in the fitness and nutrition world. And now I do these ritual experiences for women. I live in Kelowna, and they're called the deep ecology of the feminine, like bringing in nature, bringing in our deep inner nature and tuning in and accessing that delicious, juicy, potent, flourishingness that brings us together as women.
Juicy, potent flourishingness. Exactly. And I love that you're bringing us back to this, because as women, sometimes we get so busy or so trained or so caught up that we forget our own aliveness, and you bring us back to that. And this process is powerful. And you've been through some challenges that have taught you and informed you. And even your ability to lead women is because of the challenges that you've been through. Can you speak to
Absolutely.
those a little bit?
Yeah, so I have been through eating disorders and really that body shame. And that's one thing. I did a whole course on body shame and really understanding that it doesn't discriminate, that somebody could look at me and say, well, what do you know about body shame? Like, look at you. And it's like, but I live inside of me, just like you live inside of you, and how we can stop comparing ourselves. And so then I went through this whole long fertility journey while also simultaneously going through a cancer scare with this mole inside of my eyeball. And I talk about it in my book as my come through, because really, it's so easy to let these, what I call these chrysalis moments, to really take us down, and that we start to, through that perception of the experience that we went through, is what creates these limiting beliefs, as Jyoti was talking about. And so how do we, rather than get caught into a limiting belief, how do we open and expand into possibility? And so through all of the challenges that I went through, and with navigating the infertility, navigating the cancer scare, navigating, and it went on for, years, right? Bringing the magic in, bringing in a possibility, and not allowing this to take me down, not allowing this to dim my light, not allowing this to define me. And life has a lot to offer. There are the ups and downs. And just as when we are in that low time, to know that the sun rises on the other side, to know that we have all come through hard times. And I'm not comparing my hard time to anybody else's hard time. And so this is really what I'm passionate about, is, and using ritual as a means to be able to access it in a more magical way. And so, yeah, we all are doing our best. And so extending that grace to ourselves that we give to everybody else.
Thank you. And everybody's walking through a journey. I love that you put it that way. And there have been challenges that I've been personally walking through in my health. And Katharina and I were out for a walk maybe a month ago, and you said something to me. It's how, I'm going to totally paraphrase, but here's how I took it. It's who I be through the challenge, like how I approach it. It doesn't have to take me down. And you just spoke about that again, and it just sends chills through me. So thank you for doing this really powerful work.
Thank you.
So you're going to teach us a little bit about this alchemy of unbecoming. I mean, I even love the word unbecoming, because we've become, as women, we become, and now it's this process where we go into the chrysalis. So I'm going to hand you the floor. Take it away. Pour your magic onto these ladies, and I'll see you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so I just want to take a little excerpt. So I had 2 talks during this spirit event, and what I want to talk today about is really an aspect within what I write about in the book, which is about how do we step into the chrysalis? How do we take these, what I call chrysalis moments, which are the big things? It can be the deaths, it can be the divorces, it can be the big moves and the career changes, the big things that are like, they command our attention. They command us to look at what we've been through, but also what we want to become. And that's a lot of the times the focus of becoming. However, where I find some of this potency, just like we're witnessing right now in spring, is that we're starting to witness this life coming through, that this is, despite the death and decay that has been going on all winter, we can still blossom and bloom. And how do we use our chrysalis moments as the fertilizer for that growth, that without going through this challenge? And I get it, like some of these challenges we are going through, they feel so unfair, right? And sometimes it's hard not to really let us take us down. But instead of taking us out, why don't we allow ourselves to just enter the chrysalis, to allow ourselves to fall apart, get a little messy, get a little gooey, like the caterpillar needs to dissolve, to consciously, in the ways that I'm talking about here, how do we consciously unbecome what is no longer serving us, which we are not taking with us in the next becoming, as we begin to embody the version of the self that we are wanting to experience more of, out of that curiosity. What does it really mean for me to be Katharina? I haven't pushed the edge on this yet. So how do I use this? How do I use this challenge that I've been through? And how do I use that as alchemy, right? And that alchemy of choosing to unbecome becomes the juice for where I'm emerging into. And in that emerging, in that embodiment, this is my question for you. So how would you be sleeping? How would you be getting up in the morning? What's your routine? How would you be fueling your body? How would you be moving? What would you be listening to? Who would you be talking to? What kind of languaging would you have? What kind of things are you going to learn? What are you excited about? And if you were already the version of the self that you're wanting to experience more of, and how do you start to do that now? How do you bring that in now? right? And how do we get out of the mindset of, I just don't want anymore, right? And it's okay to start out in that space of, I just don't want to be overweight anymore. I just don't want to be financially struggling anymore. I just don't want to be alone anymore. I just don't, like, all of those things. And how do we shift that into, oh, the freedom too, that this allows, if I can shift my perspective into, oh, imagine if I could have the energy and the strength to, climb this mountain. Or what if I could really understand myself and fully love myself, that in any relationship that I'm in, I feel whole, and that I get to share and bring in more of who I am through this connection and a relationship. And so shifting the mindset, bringing that freedom from into the freedom to. And then as we begin to emerge, like, we're going to push up against our past conditioning, like the caterpillar or the butterfly in the cocoon needs to push up against the chrysalis in order to come out. And that is the pushing up against the past conditioning. And so expect that you were not just going to, like, have it and figure it out. But once we emerge on the other side and we come across new chrysalis moments, because we can then come into this place of freedom with, freedom as, and that I can go through a challenge and I can bring the version of myself that I would rather be, which is what Elizabeth was talking about, that I can bring that in and I can step into the discomfort as this experience, as the one. And it can be messy, and it can be like, we haven't done it before, right? So extend that grace once again, extend that to ourselves so that we can be more alive in, and we don't have to check out. And so that's really the piece that I wanted to talk to you today about.
– I love that you're saying it can be messy. Do you all hear that, everyone? Like, as a Virgo perfectionist, I've always been like, life, everything has to be right. So beautiful. Can't wait for more. What do you want to leave the audience off with in terms of just a word of inspiration or something you want to remind them of today?
Yeah, I love writing stream of consciousness poetry. And so I put a few of them in my book, meaning that they just come through. And so this one seems appropriate. It's springtime. We're all beautiful flowers. The flowering. Within all of existence, you were birthed again, alive as the one, free as the all. Birthed into existence from the wellspring of creation, you are the flowering of an infinite seed. Elevated truth within each flowering, you emerge as the beauty that you seek. The beauty in me sees the beauty in you.
Thank you. Oh, so beautiful. Who loved that? I'm just going to put hearts in my, I'm putting hearts on it right now. Everybody put a burst of hearts all across your screen for that. That and more is in the book. Katharina, thank you so much for being part of Women's Spirit Festival. It's been such a joy having you. I'm so glad you're on the live stream today. And just thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you too so much. And all you other ladies too. Thank you for sharing your gifts.
All right, everybody.